Fanalysis combines the analytics used in fantasy football with the metrics of sports betting to find the sharpest angles. We are joined by a sports handicapper, Geoff Sheasby, and a sports investment analyst from SportsGrid, Jared Smith. All right, crazy bets. These are the fun ones. This is, so let's start with you here, Jared. Will either team miss an extra point? Yes, is it plus 230?
Yeah, it gives us an implied odds of about 30% of that happening. And when you think back to your watching football throughout the course of the season, Steve, I know I can think back to more than 3 out of 10 times when I've been, cursing at my screen because a kicker missed an extra point. It seems to happen more than you think. Now, if you look at the actual statistics, it's a little bit less than that. It's about 90% for both kickers this year making extra points, but it's totally not an impossible task for a kicker, especially Ryan Suckup, who I don't think has kicked in a Super Bowl yet. Obviously, Butker has last year. I would not be surprised if there was a missed extra point in this game. I think the number is right for one of those little small sprinkles, a low risk, kind of high reward kind of play. And again, it's one of those bets. This is a high total game. You would think that there's going to be 8 to 10 touchdowns in this game. Well, if there's 10 touchdowns in the game and something's happening 9 out of 10 times, you would think once you've got a pretty decent bet for it to happen. And I like the fact that we're getting over 2 to 1 for our money.
Yeah, plus 230. I mean, Geoff, it seems like that's something that you might at least want to sniff a little bit. Might want to dive into the numbers even more.
Yeah, I'm into it. I think that's a good play, a good read. Butker's missed a couple. The guy's got a leg for sure, but his accuracy's been a little errant, kind of out of nowhere. So I'm not really passionate about that one either way, but at plus 230 on what could be considered a coin flip, I'd say throw a few shekels on it, to quote Jared.
What I love about Geoff is so analytical. There has to be a number attached to everything. So a lot of these crazy plays, Geoff is not going to be super, wild, leans heavily on any of them. So these are just for fun, and we're just going with, with something that may be a little more odd, like the length of the national anthem, which historically has been something that everybody loves to throw down some money on. It's being performed by Jasmine Sullivan and Eric Church. Geoff, the over-under is at 2 minutes. How do you feel?
I think 2 minutes is as sharp as can be.
In all of the research you've done.
Yeah, all of the research. Haven't done too much. Did a little bit of Googling. It seems like there hasn't been many duets in Super Bowl history. There was one, maybe 10 years ago or so, which went way over, but it was with 2 very soulful singers. We look at Eric Church. We look at Sullivan here. Sullivan, soulful. Church, kind of a country singer with a little bit of pizzazz, a little bit of spunk. From my understanding, Sullivan has done this before a couple times and has come in just under 2 minutes. Church, without being able to hold those notes, great voice, but again, doesn't have that soulful extension. I think that also leans towards the under. It's probably going to be pre-recorded in some capacity. Analysis also said that Church loves to bring in like live instruments for it. I don't think that'll be as possible either. So in a coin flip of a fun one, get your stopwatches out. Of course, I'm going to lead towards the under, which I believe is minus 105 right now, where the over is juiced. So I think the 2 singers is going to inflate that time, but I think they'll come under ultimately.
I didn't think that we would have that much research on this. That was pretty impressive right there. I got to be honest with you. You've done some research on something that most people haven't put that much thought into. But, sometimes it just comes to a feeling as to, what you're hoping to see out of the national anthem. Jared, one prop has a player that's not listed as a quarterback to complete a pass. The line is at 2.5, and it's plus 250. How do you read it?
I play this prop every Super Bowl. There's a few props, Steve, that every Super Bowl is on my list. This one always is because, listen, it's the last game of the year. You would imagine that there's going to be some kind of crazy play, some kind of trick play that's going to be used in some capacity. And we do have some foundational information to back us up here. Both Travis Kelce and Tommy Townsend, the punter, have completed passes this year. This could happen on a fake punt. This could happen on an end-around reverse pass. This could happen in a variety of different ways, and I don't want to go this route, but it also could happen if one of the quarterbacks, God forbid, gets hurt in the game. So there's a lot of different ways that you can win this bet, and I think, again, at the price that it is, plus 250, that's an implied odds of less than 30%. In my mind, in 3 or 4 out of 10 scenarios, I could see somebody completing a pass that wasn't Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady. It's not going to be the most analytical wager of my life. It's one of those fun ones that I play every Super Bowl. And again, you're rooting for something out of the ordinary that gets people excited. A tight end or a punter completing a pass. That's exciting, and I think those are the kind of bets we like to gravitate to when we bet on the Super Bowl.
Okay, that's interesting because I think I may have misread this. So it's not a non-quarterback. It's just not Mahomes or Brady that has to complete a pass.
Any player. So it's the amount of players to complete a pass over 2.5. So it could be a quarterback who comes in off the bench, say, I don't know, Chad Henne, if Mahomes gets hurt. I'm not hoping for that, but if it does happen, that would also cash the bet as well.
All right, wow, okay, now that clears things up, and that makes it a lot more of an attractive bet at that point then. Finally, Geoff, this one is going to take some real work to dive into. Miley Cyrus will be the headliner of the tailgate celebration. What will be the color of her primary color of her hair? What's the primary color going to be?
Yeah, this is a tough one for sure. A lot of analytics needed to bet it. I did scour it through both her Twitter and Instagram feed. Her current hair color is kind of a bleachy white. She released her NPR Tiny Desk yesterday for the first time ever. I haven't watched it yet, but again, that bleach blonde hair, I believe that's at -125. You've got brown at +125. I don't think she's going back to a normal hair color for the Super Bowl. I think if anything, you're looking at either white at -125 or maybe red. In Tampa, home team, maybe America at +300. So I would take one of those. Purple, fun at like +500, but I don't see it. I like either the red or the white, either the favorite or the +300 at red.
What do you think, Jared? Do you have a special color that you think will be the star of Miley Cyrus's hair?
I'm going to have to go back and do some research on this one, Steve, because I feel like Geoff is much more tapped into the pop culture markets than I am. I trust his handicap so much about so many things. Who am I to disagree with him on this? I mean, he seems very spot on about it.
You know, he won his own personal bet a few weeks ago about not coloring his hair if Patrick Mahomes throws 4 interceptions. So if there's anybody that we trust on any kind of prop with hair, it's going to be Geoff. Old Man Who Bets, coming through once again with some stellar insiders information. Guys, that was great. Thank you so much for all of that. That is a look at some of the crazier prop bets for the Super Bowl. Make sure you check out our other segment on the game props. For Jared Smith of SportsGrid and Geoff Sheasby, I'm Steve Overmyer. This is Fanalysis.